Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith of the In the Black VTF here at T3 Live with today's market wrap-up, and what a great day to trade, especially if you like the short side. Anyway, but let's start off with what we got coming up here. We got the SPY bearish engulfing week, and you can see here we gapped up here and took out the whole bar. Remember, an engulfing bar has to open higher than the range and close lower than the previous range. It did, so it's completely outside bearish engulfing week. So what does that mean? Basically what that means is anybody who bought the S&P in here or here is now underwater, and so what we're going to look for is, are we strong enough to pop back in and form an inside week next week, or do we take this out and trying to expand this range and keep going down? So if we take a look around in FAS, you can see not as bad, and you can see this triangle here like this. We'll see if there's follow through there on the weekly like that, because even here, if the S&P goes and the FAS starts to drop, still plenty of room just to come back down into here. Would still be the middle of the range, not the end of the world, but it would be starting to go in the wrong direction. Speaking of the wrong direction, you got XLE, and the energy is just still stinking the joint up. And if you go to the crude oil, still in trouble. Remember, talked about this weekly broadening formation many times, and all month been on the short side so long as this inside month and down here, and that also looks very familiar to Oxy. Inside month and down, we've been on that pretty much all the time. If we go to QQQ, and QQQ stronger, nowhere near taking out last week's lows, and so that's a good thing as it comes into the daily here. You got some support a little bit off of this stuff coming into here. Blow this out for you a little bit. So QQQ, not the end of the world. Certainly an engulfing pattern is something we want to pay attention to and case-by-case basis. And so if we look at the IBB took a haircut today, but it's coming off the highs. So it's still not the end of the world, albeit it seemed like it for some. And if you take a look at BIIB, perfect example of gap and go. Short all day long. Once you see this thing gap and never take out that opening, you're just all over the short side and looking for any time she can poke her head up towards the top of the range in here and looking for any way you can get in on this thing. Same thing with Amazon. That was just gorgeous. Gap in reverse, never had a chance. And you can see here on the 30, big down sideways measured move, and then a secondary measured move down into here toward the 530 as it comes into the gap. Real nice stuff there. I know a lot of people did well on there. With that BIIB, we also had Regeneron halted and then go nuts. It was outside all over the place, really the Warners, chopping them up, but good in here. So that's still undecided over there. ESPR got hit with the Regeneron, and that was some nice stuff too. It was a hot potato. There's a lot of action, but you can see it goes down, went inside 5 here and never looked back. Down into there, inside 5 off the lows to trade that. So real active, good stuff in there. We also had TripAdvisor. There you go for more gap and go action. Google here, drop it into the gap. Remember, we looked at this inside day, then it goes up, then it goes slight higher high, then shooter, and that was it. It's for an upper level consolidation. Now also trying to come into the gap is Google. We'll see how that goes next week. We had a nice midday pop out of gold, and gold here tries to go bullish engulfing day. The high there, bullish engulfing day for gold. So if we take a look at the 60, here's why we look at the inside 60s all the time. You can see this inside 60 counter to the shooter. That's a reversal strategy here. And then down inside 60 and kaboom and right back up. That's going to give you an outside bullish engulfing. And on a 60, it's going to look like this. Right there. Triangle for you right there, and closes inside 60. So if you go after the stocks, be it Nugget or however you did that, that was a great time to go after the Nugget, because you got that inside 60 up in the SPY that just cranked this, and even if you missed it, you had inside 15 to buy more, and there's a bunch of different ways to buy more there, and that goes out near the highs. Real good there. So one of the main problems here with this oil weakness is the transports, and the transports having a dismal day again. After this inside day and down into here, didn't take out the lows of the year, but it's certainly hanging around it in a doji on the month. And as I've been saying for a while, this is a big problem. If you can't get the airlines to rally with oil this cheap, and FedEx, killed. This is horrible. So we'll see how these things come in next week. You got Union Pacific. Here's an inside day. You got United Airlines. here, still hanging around, trying to get out of here. 2 rough days of trading, but still above all this stuff. But we'll see how that goes with the, especially if oil rallies. This is going to be in real trouble. So then, if we look at the weeklies for next week, who didn't get hit? What was, what's going on? You're looking for inside weeks. MU is an inside week. You've got Twitter as an inside week. You've got Netflix stays as an inside week, albeit that was a big range. And in the trannies, you got KSU, albeit near the lows, and VRTX inside week, and ACAD for watching those IBB stuff, inside week stuff there. So all in all, we want to see if this bearish engulfing SPY indeed leads to more selling and come down and test the lows or worse, or do we pop up and go inside? And once we take this out, we're going to be looking at every signal we can possibly find to the downside, because it can be a very powerful pattern when they engulfs all the buyers. A lot of people still got to blow out, but what's good is if you can recapture that. So the bottom of this week is going to be a very important level to keep an eye on next week, and more earnings coming, and so that's always fun. But certainly want to watch how the trannies act versus the oil, and watch this bearish engulfing pattern, and certainly the biotech arena red hot again, be it up or down. All right, that's going to do it for this week. I hope everybody had a great week and has an even better weekend. I'm Rob Smith, the In the Black VTF here at T3 Live.